Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to episode number 50 of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. Appreciate you being here today. I'm working in my dining room and come up with a whole bunch of ideas. Today's subject is about writing down actionable ideas. What do you do to store the information that comes to you during the day? And also, do you spend the time to kind of plan it out? Being a musician, creativity comes and goes in different places, but there are times, being a musician, you sit down and write. If you're writing an original song, you're writing an idea. If you're working on cover songs and you're working on a medley of songs that are going to go together, you do it really the easiest way possible, I would say, would be to take it, excuse me just one second there, you would take it very simply and put it in a format in order to build it, and then of course you would take it and plan a writing session to put the song together. Well, do the kind of the same thing when it comes to business, whether you're in business or you're a salesperson, you're a manager that wants to make sure you can attain certain goals, whatever that happens to be. Do you take it, write down the ideas, the actionable ideas you get during the day, or where do you do it, or how do you format it? So that's what we're really going to discuss today in episode number 51 of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. Appreciate your time so much. To me, there are several different ways you can take those things and where those ideas are going to come from. But when you get the ideas, we'll start that way. What do you do with them? Do you try and wait till the end of the day and then say, "Oh shit, what happened? Where did I put this stuff? Where did I don't have any concept, any idea what I might have done with this stuff. I know earlier on today, around 11 o'clock, I thought about this and this idea popped in my head, but I don't have any idea where it went." You got to write down. Nobody's that good. If you're that good where you can memorize things and remember everything you remember during the day, God love you. I don't know how you do it, but I'm not that person, neither is the majority of the public out there, because there are too many things that change the variable every single day. So if I get an idea, I've got to write it down because I know I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff come at me. Now, for me personally, I take my phone, my regular cell phone, the one I'm using to time this little session here, and I put things down into the Samsung Notes, and I'll categorize everything under what I want to do for 10-minute kick-ass coaching episodes, and I'll subcategorize each section to what I want to do. So, like today's, for example, is the actionable ideas, is what we're talking about right now, is what you can take and put into your business. So I take this little phone, take the Samsung Notes, and put the notes in, subcategorize each thing, and then finish out that section. And then if I'm in the process of writing and coming up with ideas and concepts, even things that aren't necessarily my members or coaching clients are not talking about, I've got to know what I want to discuss on each episode of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. So I take them, subcategorize them, put them in it, and then decide which day or which order I want to put it on. Now, the other day we talked about something that parlayed into this, so that's why I got into this particular subject, is what do you do when you go to take those things down? For me, again, I take them, I put them on the phone. Some people take this little notepad, like right here. This is all the stuff for today's show, and there's more on the other side that has information about what we're talking about. So I take that and then take it as a template, because there's only so much stuff you're going to throw on a phone, and you can only stop so many times along the highway when you're out in the field to write stuff down. And I take and I put them on the two different pages here with the different notes. And I'll then subcategorize everything so I can make sure I have enough time during the episode to cover everything I want. So a notepad is a great idea. It's old school. It works very, very well. If you lose a notepad, you're in trouble. If the phone dies out, you're in trouble. So you can only do so much when it comes to any of them. But it's better to write those things down and put those things in notes so you could either categorize them or expand upon them later on. Another option you could do is record it. I have a recording device actually in the other room, and that's what I do from time to time. When I got an idea, I'll sit there and talk into it. That used to be my most effective way to remember what I was going to do. Now it's probably the least effective way because I put the notes in. I went from being a person that completely listens to something or watches something, which I still do, to a person that reads something. Because I know if I'm reading something, it's taking up all of my concentration. When I'm watching something, I can do a bunch of different things. I can go and watch something, on the iPad. I can watch a TV show. I can watch whatever I want to watch, a webinar, whatever. And then I can go to this and start posting on the phone. Doesn't do you any good. Now you just lost traction. So for me, I have to be very, very specific. I'm going to give you a great example. Today I was watching a webinar from Russell Brunson. I'm trying to put together the best possible webinar on a product we're developing right now. I've been asked by many people to cover a subject that I'm pretty good about. I've gotten some vast experience in it. I've been pretty successful at doing exactly what I talk about. and that's the product they want. But it has to be somewhat of an entry-level product, because not everybody can hire you for long-term coaching commitments. They're just not ready there. They're not there with their business, whatever the case is. So I've been asked numerous times by not just clients, other people, to say, could you please develop a product on how you position yourself, how a small service business positions themselves in a marketplace that's completely saturated by large franchise and large corporations. So that's my specialty area, is how to take a business that somebody wants to build a systemized structure to. It's very similar to a franchise, but don't want to do that. And yes, they're going to spend a fair amount of money up front in developing their core business and understand the systems and structure and how to build it, integrate everything into the business. But once they're done, they're done. They may hire me for some consulting work from time to time, but the business is done. I still consult with the businesses I used to own and I sold. It's part of it because I put things so strong in place that no matter what it was, I was able to take that and do it. So I was asked to put this product together, long story short, on positioning and how to position a small service-based business. When I say small, I'm talking about somebody who's usually $5 million less a year. So you're not exactly small. To the Small Business Administration, under $100 million a year, you are a small business. But to us, in the real world, $5 million. You're above that, you're probably at what I have is not really going to help you too much. Pieces of it are going to. But that's what I needed to develop. So I needed to put something together in order to do that. I need to make sure I could put things down. So now I've got to put together, again, long story short, a webinar that is going to put that product out there and explain the benefits to the product, what you're going to get with the product, how it's going to work, what it's going to benefit from you if you put the work into it. Again, put the work into it. Nothing gets done without it. And anybody that sell you a pipe dream that you can go and plug something in and it's going to be automatic is lying through their teeth to you, and you should never, ever spend 5 minutes of your valuable time talking to them. Everything you're going to do to develop any growth, any wealth in this world is going to require you to put the work in. Just that simple. Unless you're Lucky Sperm Club, you either you married somebody rich, you were born that way. Very few people are that way. Most people I know and associate with are very successful because their mind says they're tough enough to fight it out, just like a boxer. Toughest boxers are not the biggest physical boxers; are the toughest upstairs. Muhammad Ali is the clear reason for that thought process. So, after my little rant here, we'll just go back to what I'm saying. I'll go a little bit further into this today. But do you take and write down that information? For me, with the webinar, I wrote down all these notes. Now, they look like they're scattered to you, and they are scattered. This is what Marcel brought this perfect webinar, which I happen to be a pretty big fan of. And I took his process, and I thought, I may add a couple things, or, I'm not really taking anything out, but I may kind of customize it to my own business. But look at the notes, each next section. It's virtual insanity here. But I took the notes because I want to make sure it applies to what I'm doing in the business, what I'm bringing to the customers, what kind of product I'm able to develop. And it helps me format that product. It also helps me deliver the best value in advance or best results in advance in order for people to build value and understand what it is. Now, what I'm going to sell it for is very tangible. It's very reasonable for what you're getting. It's always going to be worth 10 times what I'm selling it for, no matter what. It's just the type of person I am. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I know I can get my biggest value, or I can show the biggest value I have in working one-on-one with you. And if I can't get you there by putting it out there and having people follow me and follow step by step how to get there, then you're never ever going to work with me, because you're going to go, well, that guy's too expensive, or he's not going to be able to do it, or there's this, every excuse in the world not to do something. But I have to give you a tangible reason. I have to prove to you, and I do have to prove to you, that I can bring value to you. And in that proof, that's what a product's needed to do in order to position that. But I have to write down this information. I have to take these notes. These are not just something I want to rarely do without taking. So in order to get somewhere, in order to get focused on something, in order to get somewhere as far as your information, to write your information down, every spot you need to be in, you have to put it somewhere. Whether that's on your phone, that's in a recording, that's in your notebook, that's on an audio device, it doesn't make a difference. And again, don't wait till the end of the day to do those types of things. Don't cheat yourself out of things. You are forgetting by the end of the day. Everybody is. With a rare anomaly that you're not, every single person is cheating themselves out of the information that comes into your head on any given day, every day, 7 days a week. The Notepad goes with me, my phone goes with me 7 days a week. If I can't take this with me for God knows whatever reason, I'm hooked to this. Ask my fiance, she'll tell you I'm hooked to this in the iPad. So I always have something to put information down. If I'm out and I happen to be in the passenger seat and not driving, I usually get a lot of creative ideas. Most of my ideas come to me late at night, 10 to 12, because I don't have really any disruptions at that point for the most part. So that's my crunch time. Most of my thoughts, most of my ideas come out between 10 p.m. and 12 midnight every night. That's where I get the most creative. And it happens pretty much scheduled on a given night. I know around 10 o'clock, maybe 10:15 to maybe 12:15 or a little bit further, I'm going to have time to watch things, get creative, write down ideas, take notes, and figure out what kind of actionable idea I'm going to put them. That's another thing I wanted to cover. You put them in a list of how you want to take them on. You put them in a list of how you want to get something done. You put them in a list of what do you feel is going to be the best way to do something. The first thing to do. Second thing, not overwhelmed, not I got to do 10 things at once. You won't do it. Nobody does it. Put down them in order. I got to do this first, this second, this third, this fourth, this fifth. My coach, Manny, is very clear about it. Do this first. Don't worry about the other. That's not what you got to do at this point. Stop. Don't focus on 10 things. You're not going to do 10 things at once simultaneously. You might run 10 businesses simultaneously. That's been done, but nobody's focusing on all 10 businesses simultaneously, and you're kidding yourself if you think otherwise. So make sure you focus on one thing at a time and get that done and go to the next. Same way I run my coaching model. I don't give you 10 things. I give you one thing, we get it done, we move on to the next. Once we've moved it, that's how we move up as I trademarked the saying, the strategy ladder, how we move from the bottom of the ladder to the top of the ladder, and what do we do to accomplish to get there. And if you work with me as a client, you'll find out how effective that particular strategy ladder is. And again, what format do you put these things in when you take action? You put these things in order, you make sure they're done, you make sure you know what you want to do, you make sure you spend the time to detail the work, cross the T's, dot the I's. It does not have to be perfect, people. Nothing in this world that's ever successful is perfect. It doesn't happen. Nothing has ever been built on perfection. Don't kid yourself. Well, there might be a few examples of things being looked at perfection, but generally you're still going to find flaws in those things that people find as perfection, because that's what builds it. That's what builds characters. When you make mistakes, that's what builds you to be a better person. Your flaws are your quote-unquote mistakes, right or wrong. So if you don't learn from them, you don't have them, you can't build upon them. There are people that I've met in this world, or I've seen in this world, that are extremely successful because they just invested right, they're in the right time, they're first to market, whatever the case was. That does not show me a track record of success. And God love them, they could be millionaires and even in some cases billionaires. They just got lucky at the right time the first time. But that's not the rest of us. Most of us have had to do this, have succeeded, or have failed. We've all been there. But we get back up, dust yourself off, and do it another day. All right, guys, that's episode number 51 today. Do you take your actionable ideas, put them in order, save them somewhere, don't wait till the end of the day, and then plan out how you want to do those? Now we went kind of off the deep end, and I could explain why I want to know how to develop a webinar, because I want people to have the most value out of it in advance. And if they feel that whatever I give them is so valuable, they will invest in the course, invest in a little bit of coaching that comes along with it, all part of the package, and then we'll work together one-on-one when I could take that business and I could take that model or that franchise concept and then work on what their ideas are, what concepts they have, what strategy they have, and refine it, mine it, hone it like a diamond, and bring it to market. And I know positioning is the way to do that. And that's what I tend to be very good at. Thank God. So everybody's very good at something. That is probably the one thing that I am very good at, is finding that little diamond and how to polish it correctly to bring it to market. Find out what you bring, what diamond you bring to the market, what kind of value you bring to it. What are you really good at? Because trust me, you're really good at something. You're really exceptional at something. Write it down. You'll figure out which one it is. It will come to you. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm humbled by you being here, and I will see you tomorrow. I've got a question that we're going to cover tomorrow that keeps coming up. And it's not just from me, it's from other people, colleagues in the industry that bring it up, other people that do what I do, that keep having this question come up over and over again. And tomorrow I'm going to hopefully put a nail in the coffin of what it doesn't do and build a skyscraper on what it does do. So we'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.